you doing? This is Sean McVeigh with Sean's Outdoor Adventures. It is January the 19th. There is snow on the ground. Hunting season is over for me, which means it's time to start my compound bow reviews. And today I get to go to the Elite Compound Bow Factory. Alright, so in this video, we're going to tour the Elite Compound Bow Factory. Let's go check it out. I'm excited. Almost there. All right, just made it to the Elite Factory, and let's get in there and get a tour of this place. I'm excited. Let's go.
Welcome to the Outdoor
Thank you so much. Corey, you want to give an introduction and tell us a little bit about what we're about to experience here?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Corey Risden. I am the Vice President of Operations here at the Outdoor Group. And today we're about to let Sean have an all-access pass to our plant and our shooting range and all of our products. And I look forward to it. I hope to get some good feedback
And
there.
you know what? I was talking with one of the other guys a minute ago. I'm going to do a separate video on the Outdoor Group because, you know, coming here, I was thinking I'm coming to shoot some Elites. You know, and I'm like, I'm coming to the Outdoor Group, so we're gonna do a separate video on that later on what is the Outdoor Group and all of the different things that fall under that umbrella. So
yes,
that's
sir.
exciting. So all right, so how about I'll grab the camera and follow you to wherever we're going.
Fair enough. Let's head this direction. We're up here for a moment and tell this interesting story, which may or may not be relevant to you. Middle of last year, we had Rio Wild and Darren Christenberry and Tommy Gomez in, and there was some smack talk going on from one of my employees with them that he could shoot them better than them. And when I got wind of this, I went to Kristen Costa, our Director of Marketing, VP of Marketing, sorry, wrong title. And we cleared the floor, shut down the entire operation, opened up an entire area for a 6-lane shooting range, and held the first annual Brian Beatdown. Because Brian, one of our employees, was the one talking smack. And of course, Rio Wild at 325 X's did in fact kick his butt. But in that moment, what we really were doing was giving everybody in this plant to watch some of our best archers who represent us out there in the marketplace do what they do so well. We're looking forward to it. We're going to have the second annual Brian Beatdown here in the summer with just arranging it with Rio and the team. And it's actually going to include a lot more archers from our floor because they would all like the chance to shoot against some of the industry's best.
Yeah.
So a little thing that we framed up here just to point it out, it's actually called the first annual Brian Beatdown across the board. Second annual will be next year.
Nice.
You're coming through our customer service department now, so we have our technical warranty team, our customer service team answering calls from consumers and our dealers. Hi, everybody. Wave to the camera if you get a chance. Thank you. And we'll head out onto the production floor. After you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Shall we begin?
At this point, I'll have you throw on some safety glasses. We won't require hearing protection for you because of the short amount of time that you're going to spend on the floor. Alright, so we'll start with our process flow. We'll come around the corner. What you may notice is a number of items currently out in the open. This is what happens post-ATA. So we just came back with 60 people and 4 tractor-trailer loads of product and equipment for the displays. And we're currently sorting our way through all of that. We'll go ahead and set up here and we'll talk about what we do.
All right, so where are we in the factory here?
All right, so we're at a shipping and receiving dock. We basically run the whole facility as a vertically integrated manufacturing platform. So the bulk of what we produce is produced in this plant. There are some small parts and hardware that we buy outside, but generally only after we are fully vertically tooled and able to produce it ourselves and fully understand the requirements so that we can get a vendor to meet our expectations. So we're going to follow our process flow in a giant circle through the plant, and we're going to end up right back here. One of the things I want to point out to you and the viewers who are watching is that we have recently consolidated our plant from Kentucky into the New York location to get all of our manufacturing operations under one roof and really close to the leadership, because we believe that we're about to raise the bar on all of our products in terms of quality and delivery. It's also allowed us to create a distribution center here in New York so that now all orders will be able to be in one box with one invoice, so that the consumer has a much easier time of dealing with us as a vendor, as a supplier. So our goal was one plant, one invoice, one box of product, and the consumer is satisfied.
Right.
It also gives us accountability here. We have a very integrated team who in the last couple years have dedicated themselves to improving the Elite brand, quality perception. We have completely changed our coating processes. We have completely changed our fixturing and our tooling. We have bought numerous new technologies and machines in an effort to change the way we produce our product. And we have implemented a company-wide quality system and cut all of our tolerancing in half. We believe we are now producing one of the best bows on the market in terms of fit, finish, and function.
Right.
And we now intend to do that for all of our brands.
Right.
We're going to bring that leverage to bear on all 9 brands.
Great. Cool. All right, let's start the circle.
Exactly, let's head on down. The last time I did this plant tour online, I didn't actually stop in the quality department, so I think we'll give them a little love this time. Hello, Mr. Faribault.
Hello.
How are you today?
Doing okay.
We're going to be doing some video, and if you'll sit up here, we'll shoot into this.
Sure. Into this catastrophe.
Yes, sir.
That's where the love is. That's where the love is.
And it's
Yeah.
one of the things we're going to talk about on the video is that this, much like the other one we did, had no preparation or notice to any of you. I did not ask you to clean up or change your behaviors at all. We really believe in integrity around here. And if I were to tell them I have video coming through and ask them to clean up, it would be actually trying to misrepresent ourselves.
Sure.
So we tend to tell the truth. We are what we are, this is what we do. And you'll see them nod their heads. Also, 2 of the men I took to the ATA, so they're just as exhausted as I am.
Welcome back.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we're on like a 14-day run right now. And we're tired.
You ready
No,
to
I
put in
think
for some
I'm tired.
vacation time?
Yes, they are. They're going to burn some vacation time. I'm going to give them an extra couple of days this year. All right, so we have entered our quality department. Over the course of the last 2 years, we have written and created an entirely stable quality management system, or QMS. Our intention with that was to be able to get it ISO certified, and we did so. We actually submitted for an outside auditor. We were obtaining and had obtained the ISO 9001-2008 certification.
Tell people what the ISO is so that they know.
ISO is a standard that says if you're going to claim that you have a quality management system, an outside auditor is paid to come in and use the International Standards Organization standards for a QMS and audit it to ensure that it is not just lip service, that it's
Right.
actually a functional quality system. We did obtain that cert for the purposes of validating our system, and I'm now going to go ahead and let it lapse. I used that system to validate mine, but it adds cost. That
Right.
process of auditing it every year is a significant, potentially 6-figure cost, and it would end up in my bow models.
Right.
So we used it to validate my system and ensure that it was accurate and robust.
Yeah.
And we are now operating that system independent of audit.
Right.
No one in our industry, it appears, demands that level of ISO certification. So we actually went above and beyond in our mind to validate our system
Right.
and ensure that it does the job. Everything we produce here gets a first article inspection. That means 5 pieces are submitted before it ever goes into production, and all 5 must meet all critical quality dimensions. And if it doesn't, we red tag it, we fail the process, and we do not allow launch to occur until it is consistently reliable and able to hold dimensional stability.
Okay.
It's a big deal for us, and it's part of how we have raised the bar in terms of fit, form, and function in Elite.
Nice.
Brian and his team are rigorous in terms of holding me accountable for doing what we say and saying what we do.
Nice.
Seems simple.
That's how I am, so I really appreciate hearing that. I mean,
Absolutely, and I'm accountable for it. And I welcome people when they come through town to come see us.
there you go.
I
Anyone
like
coming
doing
through?
this particular
We're
tour
in
to
the
show
Rochester
people
area?
the reality of what we do. Yeah, we're right here in West Henrietta.
Yeah.
And every other Wednesday we have an open house where we allow plant tours. So if you'll plug into your local dealer and your sales rep, we'd be more than happy to arrange it and schedule your trip.
Nice. Come on out. I mean, obviously I wanted to film this for those of you who can't, but if you can, it's neat.
Yeah, I look forward to having you. We
Cool.
host this on a regular basis, and I do enjoy giving the tour.
Cool.
So I'll point out the quality department.
Yeah.
We are currently in Brian's area of Ballywick. Mr. Faribault, step on up.
Sure
you have a
thing.
choice. Either that or he's going to swing the camera around on you.
All right.
Brian, tell us a little bit about what you do here.
So, in a nutshell, what we do is we make sure the product getting to our customers is good product. We are responsible for qualifying everything that comes in the building and making sure that everything that leaves the building is acceptable.
So Brian, you got a stack of risers over here on,
Yes,
the,
sir.
on the crate. Talk to us about what's going on with that there.
So a lot of these are machine risers.
Yeah.
We do all of our own riser machining in-house. And part of what comes with that is we screw up sometimes.
Sure.
A lot of these have some issues varying from minor to major. And our job here, if there's any question on the floor, is we bring these in, we look them over, and determine if they're acceptable or not.
And in this case, these are all rituals. So I'm going to step into the frame here for a
Absolutely.
moment. So these are all rituals as part of the new ritual launch. We are in production launch. We have achieved what we call an LRIP, low rate introductory production. And what that means is we take a statistical stable 33 products all the way through the process and validate that the end of the process gives us all of the dimensional specifications in assembly before we ever allow the first bow to be built, boxed, and shipped out the door. It's a military standard, LRIP, but it comes from the ISO standard that is integrated into things called a PPAP, or Piece Part Approval Process. What it really does is say that there is a statistically stable process. If one part were to fail, it would then drive us into a root cause analysis. We would dig in, identify the root cause using a 5Y and fishbone analysis, prevent that failure from happening again, implement a permanent countermeasure, and then resume production. So for those who don't know, Brian's
I'm just
over
going to
here
jump in
nodding
and say
his
I'm
head.
glad I don't have their job. I just get to do the shooting.
Yeah. When I introduced myself, he asked me what I do here, and I told him I'm the guy who gets blamed for everything, because that's really what my job is.
I'm the guy who does the blaming.
Yes, he does, and he does a good job. And in partnership, what we're ensuring is that when you get your product from this plant, it has met very stringent and rigorous quality controls. If Brian doesn't feel that is acceptable, matter of fact, if any employee in this plant feels that we are making a part that is unacceptable, they have the power to call it bad and
Yeah.
put a red tag on it. And that means even if it is somebody walking through the plant, randomly sees something they don't like, they have the authority to put a red tag on it and bring it to quality's attention. And they may be saving us one dissatisfied customer. And I'll tell you, I'm committed to that.
Nice. And I will say, as I come around the front of the camera, that they said I'm going to be doing bow reviews, so that'll be separate videos. But they welcomed any negative feedback, to help and make a better product. Now, I'm not saying I will have any, but he did say that directly to me, so I appreciate that, and I'm sure the public appreciates that. I mean, thank you for taking that approach. And I was thinking about it on the way up here. It's nice when companies not only want to produce the best product that they can, but they care about the people they're producing it for. It's not just about a dollar sign to them. It's about caring about the people. That's meaningful to me, and I appreciate that. So.
Sure.
I think it's meaningful it's our culture.
Yeah.
We are trying to create the correct culture in a successful company.
Yeah.
Profits are what we're here for.
Sure.
But the way you generate them is through human resources,
Yeah.
not through process.
Yeah.
It's about this guy's unwillingness to accept anything less than an elite standard.
Right.
And elite in the dictionary stands for superior to all others in quality, ability, and performance. And that is our motto here.
Right.
So we hold that standard for everything we do. Superior in quality, ability, and performance. That's the elite model.
I like it.
All right, we're heading on.
All
Thank
right.
you, Brian,
Thanks
for
putting me
engaging.
on the spot.
So let's start with the citizen. One of our citizens. So this is one of the processes that we recently relocated from our Kentucky facility. This particular one is set up on a broadhead ferrule for one of our slick trick lines. There are 13 of these machines that have recently been installed over the course of the last 45 days. And we're in the process of onboarding and training all new operators in New York. We had offered opportunity for all the employees in Kentucky to join us here in New York, offered retention and relocation, the opportunity to come up, visit the New York region, and we were able to convert a number of employees. And as we go through the plant, I'll introduce you to some of our Kentucky brethren who have elected to come north and see what Rochester's all about in the winter during December in a snowstorm. So they're getting a front row feel for what Rochester is like. There are 13 of these. They're high precision machines that make small turn parts. And in terms of internal manufacturing capability, this is the level of tracking that we give to all of our products. You'll notice here one of our prints on the machine. This is the actual ferrule that it's producing. And then I'll have it swing back around. You guys can all freeze frame it later and take a look at what it really is. That's part of our quality system. Everything has a design. Every design has to be to print. And the quality department will not allow us to run anything but an approved product within specifications. All right, so we're going to stop here and talk about some of the new equipment that we brought on board. We recently purchased a pair of robo drills specifically for our cam and mod manufacturing in-house. We are in the process now of dialing and grooming these fixtures and processes in, once again, ensuring that every new fixture gets a first article approval out of quality, and then we do a statistical capability to ensure that it is within an acceptable CPK. We won't get into all the statistics. It's just a nice way of saying we use automotive grade performance expectations in the archery industry. So if you want to take a look, this is a good example of one of our hydraulic setups utilizing pause fixtures. Shout out to Pause and our friends at Montague. And this is literally how we produce our modules for the change of our draw lengths on our bows. Let's head on to verticals.
And I am glad I don't have his job just because of all the ABC 1, 2, 3 abbreviations that are required because of the long-winded titles of things.
Yes, sir. And at the same time, one of the best things that I can tell you folks is that if you're buying a product that was produced out of this factory, it is personal to us. All those acronyms, all of those letters are really talking about processes, procedures, and policies we use to make sure that we are putting the quality product in your hands that you deserve when you pay your good hard-earned money. I'm a journeyman toolmaker by trade. I'm a toolbox truck driver. There's a toolbox in the back of my truck. There's a gun rack in the back of my truck. That's where I come from. And when I pay $1,000 for something, it's because I stored my money up. I had a cookie jar I was putting $10 in a week. And if I paid $1,000 for something, it had better be perfect. So you should know that's the expectation I have for everyone in our plant. We got to be aware that the guy on the other end, or the woman on the other end, or the child on the other end, has an expectation of it being right when it comes out of the box. We take that very, very seriously, and I take it personally. Let's head on out and see what else we got to show you. All right, let's head to this cell. So for those of you who may have seen the previous video we did with a plant tour, you are in the middle of a Haas cell. To my right and my left are the hydraulic fixtures that we have implemented in an effort to dramatically reduce the cost of our product by eliminating setup and errors in quality issues. Our rejection rate on these hydraulic fixtures in the Haases have dramatically improved, and it's one of the reasons we were able to give such a price reduction this year. This project has been 15, 16 months in the making and is now in full operation.
Zoom in on this one.
Absolutely. So here's one that's in cut. This fixture is fully automated with auto sensing and detect systems to allow us to actively measure the part. And we have a probe system with something called Productivity Plus, for those of you who are in the machine shop world, that allow us to probe and dimensionally check the part in the machine and then adapt the program to ensure that dimensional accuracy is what we produce. Because of that, we have dramatically reduced our scrap rates, and it's one of the ways that we have dropped our price while raising our quality. If you wanted to know how we got it done, it's because we're making investments in the technology. Here's a version of it that's not undercut. I asked them to actually leave it open for us so you could take a look. So essentially what you have here are large hydraulic clamp units that clamp the riser forging from the side, a series of standoffs and stops that actually measure the forces as we cut, and a series of holdover clamps that allow it to grab and release to allow some of the forces that are created when we machine, or stresses that are inherently in the forging, to be released and then re-grab the part for the finished cuts to ensure that we have a completely stable riser with no predisposition or desire to twist one way or the other. We want a completely neutral riser so that we have no internal forces stored that might create any kind of shooting variability for the guy who's shooting the bow. Pretty proud of this particular technology, and we're implementing it throughout the entire organization. I want to make a shout out to PRZ, who was our partner in developing this. Their team has been wonderful to work with, as well as Haas, who helped us integrate what is a very technologically advanced system into a machine that required a great deal of rework to be able to get it to handle it. We'll go ahead and head on down and talk about our DMG. So welcome to our first DMG Mori cell. I want to show you operations 20, 30, 40, which is a more manual method that we are in the process of changing over to a fully hydraulic setup. In the DMG Moris, the reason we bought this particular cell is that they have a much higher metal removal rate. It's kind of like turning a quarter in a Corvette as opposed to a pickup truck. This particular machine has a lot of look-ahead memory, and what it means is that it can turn the corner and accelerate instead of slow down to turn the corner. It's another way that we've been able to take cost out of our product while still raising the bar on quality. And most importantly, what it's done for us is give us the ability to repeatedly produce the part at a faster run rate. We're not willing to go fast to sacrifice quality. We are holding quality and going faster. Yeah, it's going to do a real quick tool change on us here. Oh, it's finished. Really rapid travels, a lot of high speed. And for those of you in the machining world, as opposed to a typical vertical machine that has X and Y in the actual table and only the Z moves, this particular one actually only has one travel in the table, and both of the other travels are in the actual head. What that allows is much less mass, and that's how it's able to turn the corner so quick. So there's a little technical detail for you on what the DMG allows us to do. Less mass means you can turn the corner faster. I'll talk really loud here because I'm willing to bet the microphone's going to have trouble picking it up, but I don't want you to stop. Every riser is hand-deburred by these folks, and it will not leave this table until they believe that it is aesthetically perfect. And I gotta say, I trust them a lot, because if I'm paying $1,000 for a bow, I want it to be perfect. How's it going, sir? Good. No problem so far. Excellent. That's good to hear. So they'll work with various deburring, polishing materials, and grinders throughout the process. This table is a downdraft table, so it captures all of the airborne debris in a negative airflow, so you can actually feel it pulling downward. Captures all of that debris in a water flow that's underneath, and then exits clean air back up into the air plate. So you'll notice they don't have to wear respirator masks, and it's because the table is actually creating a filtered air environment. Bring the film crew in, guys. I didn't do it. You didn't do it? No, I don't do it. Oh, we got something coming out together. It's a good thing to catch right here. Here we go, here we go. You didn't see that, that's a prototype. Oh, no, leave it in. It's currently acceptable, it's just, you didn't really see that.
I didn't see anything. Did you see anything?
We get credibility because we do not tell anybody this is happening. This is business as usual. We don't prep the plant. We come out and we do it live. So there are split limbs for the ritual going in our standard black. We have a highly durable epoxy finish that we apply to all of our limbs and our black risers. It's a textured, wrinkled finish that we formulated for durability and flexibility so that it doesn't crack with the limb as it's moving. You'll notice our paint booth. Currently we're running a series of black risers. He's in the booth right now shooting our powder coat. That is that textured black we're talking about. He'll load up and run each riser individually, load it up onto our rack, and then take it into our ovens. And much like a cookie, if you bake it too long, it'll be too hard and crispy. And if you don't bake it enough, it'll be soft and chewy. So we're very rigorously tracking our temperatures in our oven. The oven you saw earlier is a brand new Wisconsin oven we brought in about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. And it has no more than a 7-degree temperature differential anywhere in the oven. What that ensures is that our cookie is always perfectly baked. I love powder coat. It's one of my favorite things. We have worked diligently here in the last 2 years so that it is not your mama's pro coat. This is the best quality finish on the market in my opinion, and I say that lovingly because they're my formulation. All right, let's head on up to the color fusion. So as I mentioned earlier, we are actually doing this at a lunch break, so I don't have a lot of people on staff in each department. So I'll give you an idea of what color fusion is. We take a riser, fully deburred, that is white and clear coated, and the clear coat we put on is formulated to accept a dye sublimation ink. We then buy our color fabric from Color Fusion. Shout out to them for their partnership. And in this case, we're shooting a Realtree Original. This is a classic pattern from many years ago. We will wrap that pattern around the riser and then place it inside of a vacuum bag and draw a vacuum. And then once again, place it in the oven. While it's in the oven, the ink will trans-sublimate into gas. And the ink will penetrate the clear coat. So our coating isn't just on top of the riser. It is actually penetrated into the powder. So slight abrasions are easily cleaned up and the pattern is still there. It's not on the surface, it's actually in the material. So it's one of the most durable versions out there as compared to perhaps a hydrograph, which is a more typical way of decorating the lower end bows. We're really proud of our fit and finish. And the level of dots per inch on the color fusion process allows us what I believe to be one of the most aesthetically pleasing decorations in the marketplace today. If you look around, you'll see our Kanbans, an automotive term for work in process, that are risers stored and ready to be either powder coated or the white ones on these racks that are ready to be decorated. Let's go ahead and head up into Limb World.
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing just well. Yeah, I know the ATA has kept me very busy.
Been pretty busy.
It is. Let's see. So we're in limb land. So every limb that we get in comes in through our vendor, Gordon Glass, and a partner that we use who machines them for us. They come in, they get black powder coated. They come in after powder coat in this fashion. And then we will decorate them with our decoration. In this case, we're running echelons. What are you currently about to run? Ritual. We are on the rituals. For those of you who want a ritual, be patient. I am still dialing it all in and ensuring that I am making you the highest quality bow that I can. They are shipping. Your dealers are getting them now so that you can rush right out and go test them in their range. But our current lead time is going to be a little slower than you might like, and let's just admit it. It's because I'm taking my time to make sure I am giving you the most technically accurate bow that you expect when you're paying $1,000 for a product. All right, let's head on upstream.
Hi, Corey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing just fine. I brought along a few million viewers for you today. It's one of my favorite things to do with the workers, is give them the credit for what they do. This is our kitting department. From here is where customer orders get translated into the kits that we use to construct the bow, string the bow, tune the bow, and test the bow. This is where the birth certificate occurs. So it literally is a birth certificate. I'm going to pull one out. I think you just did this one.
Yes.
So here's an example of one of our bow kits. It has the birth certificate card that will actually be all of the tracking of exactly what we built. And when the customer gets it with a serial number, we'll be able to tell that customer who built it, who built which step of it. And if there's ever a quality issue, we're able to dig in and do the analysis to figure out where the root cause occurred and then prevent it from ever happening again. We really focus on continuous improvement here. This card was created by the team. And the inspection sheet on the backside where each person signs their name for their individual department's work and guarantees that they've done their job well. The number of products that come back to us now is statistically low. We do have the few occasional blips here and there like all manufacturers do, and I can assure you when I find out that we've had that blip, we don't sweep it under the rug. We treat it as if it is one of the most important things, and we dig in to figure out how we can prevent it from ever happening again. And I don't think that that's lip service. You've got to back me up or call me out right here, because I think we're doing it.
Yes, we are.
We're proud of what we do. They're proud of their part in what we do. And that engagement is what delivers a good quality product. Tina here, one of our unsung heroes, or heroesses. I guess it's heroes, it's universal, male, female. I have to look that up. Yep. She is currently putting together one of our echelons. This one's a 37. So she'll take that kit of parts and she will literally do all of the sub-assembly work and finite work with all of the necessary screws, decorations, coins, hand grips. Her job is to ensure that all the parts are properly assembled, and if she finds any problem, she'll reject it at that moment. She is one of our first in the line of quality inspection points. When she is done, she'll hand over to our stringers a bow that is sub-assembled but unstrung, and we will then start the process of stringing. How's it going today?
Great.
I found out I can build you that special bow with that special decoration we talked about earlier today.
That is awesome.
I look forward to it. I have one of those patterns, and it's been being talked about in the world of the World Wide Web lately, and you're about to get a special one yourself.
Awesome. Can't wait.
It is out there. It's just not out there in the world yet, people. And for those of you who are catching on to what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about it. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing just well.
Just well.
So here is one of our stringing stations. I'll let you go ahead and take a look at what he's in the process of doing. So we now take that sub-assembled bow and he will start to string her up. When he's done, he will hand over to our tuners a bow that has been strung and is fully assembled and ready for final tuning. In this case, it'll look something like this. Now everything is in place, but this bow has yet to be tuned. It has not been timed. It is sub-assembled and ready for the process. And once again, everyone who touched it has signed their name to the card. It will then come over to one of our super tuners. I guess I'll grab this gentleman, or you want to chuck one up? No, it's too late. I'm going to go over here. I can do something. Kyle Kowalski, everybody, not doing anything at the moment. I'm kidding. He's doing his paperwork. That was kind of how we fund one another. So what we're doing now is actually final tuning one of our bows. This is one of our echelons. In this case, you'll notice that we are using calibrated scales with calibrated load cells. We're very picky about the ISO requirement. You go right ahead and do your job. Don't worry about us. What he's doing now is eyeballing for cam lean at full draw. What he'll do literally is the same tuning work that you should be receiving at your dealership, or for those of you who can do it yourself, that you do yourself. We will ensure that the bow is properly reading at the right poundage, the correct let off. We check the overall axle to axle, and we ensure that the bow has no cam lean, either static or at full draw, as well as ensuring that the timing is dead nut. And if it isn't, they will reject that bow and start over. If there's a blemish on the fixture, if there's a blemish on a pocket, if there is anything wrong with the bow at this moment, they red tag it, it gets rejected, and we start over. And there's never There's never any action against anyone for calling a product bad. We encourage people to say it's not good enough. And I think that they all feel empowered to do that. All right, let's head on over to boxing, and that'll just about finish the elite portion of the tour.
And in fact, somebody had done that right when I got here. That guy you were talking to,
Yeah.
So he's
he'll
staying
do
on
that
shoot.
every time. We're going to stop here for just a moment and talk about, we have brought Scott and CBE and Dual and Lynch Mob, the other brands that the Outdoor Group represent, to the New York location. We actually have a total of 9 brands under this one roof of the Outdoor Group. And for those of you who are dealers, we offer a great program that allows you to have a one-stop shop and have everything from broadheads to game calls, bows to releases, and one of, I believe, the best releases and sights on the market to go along with what I believe is the best fit and finish on a bow. So this is our Scott and Cbe Assembly area. Dual's over on the right. You'll see he's putting together a series of calls right now as we speak. Once again, we just happened to catch everybody at lunchtime, so you'll notice that we're actually pretty empty on staff. But here in about a half an hour, this will be a flurry of activities. Yeah. Just a minute about our brand Winner's Choice. How you doing, gentlemen?
Good, how are you? Good.
We're doing just fine. So I may have mentioned earlier our consolidation from Kentucky, and one of the brands we did bring up with all the others was Winner's Choice. Winner's Choice is a very high quality string. We make it with the correct process to ensure that you don't get peep creep. Every elite bow leaves the factory with a Winner's Choice high grade string made by the same folks who make our Winner's Choice custom capable strings. And I would put my name behind Winner's Choice strings any day of the week. Gentlemen, what are you up to right now? They're on our test rig, by the way. They're measuring and checking.
That's all we're doing is checking our top serving, bottom serving, the center serving and STS to make sure they're on key, off within a 30 seconds, if that.
Excellent. So I got to introduce you to 2 of my key employees. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Richard Dunn.
I'm Justin.
So,
Richard Dunn.
Justin Baker.
So Richard is from Kentucky, has made the move up to New York during the winter to experience this great place we call Rochester and West Henrietta. And Justin is a long-term employee who has actually learned quite a few things over the course of the last few years. From bows to crossbows to strings now, you're actually becoming a jack of experts.
I got machines.
Yeah, you do. You got machining too, which is another thing we believe in wholeheartedly, is opportunity and the ability to be mobile. I'm telling you that the Winner's Choice process you see behind us is about half of what's in or was in Kentucky. There is still a team down in Kentucky making our custom, and they'll be moving up here in the course of the next couple of months. We're in the process of training new operators here, so Justin has stepped in and is learning how to make strings here out of our New York team. And one of the things we're really proud of is the quality of the string we put on our elite OEM bow. A Winner's Choice string is a high quality string. I know a lot of people who change them out when they get our bows, and I always wonder why, because I got a lot of people who buy Winner's Choice strings to change out onto the bow that they bought from someone else. So in this particular instance, I'm telling you, shoot a Winner's Choice. It doesn't have peep creep, and it's one of the most reliable strings on the market today. So this is the boxing station where it's the culmination of all of the quality efforts that we have made. Once again, I don't have any operators here because it's lunchtime. They'll be back about 1 o'clock. Every bow is meticulously examined for any potential defects, and if they're found, it is red tagged and will not make it into the box. And then because it drops into our quality system, it goes into what's called the MRB. There's that acronym. It's called the Material Review Board. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we, operations and quality, meet to look at everything that was red tagged throughout the process that period of time, in the last 2 days. And we then analyze and do a root cause analysis on it before we strip it or discard it because it's an unacceptable product. What that does is allow us to capture the data. It allows us to plug into our failure modes, and then we go out and do root cause and then prevent it from ever happening again. This is the last step before you, the consumer, will see it, and I can assure you the people who man this are some of our experts. Their job is to ensure when that opens...
Their job is...
One of the things that their job is to ensure that they're treating what's going in the box the same way that you expect to treat what comes out of the box. And I've got to tell you, we're pretty good at it. At this point, 2 years ago, the failure mode on this particular operation could be as high as 1% of production. Its current statistical rate is less than 1/10 of 1% of total effort. And we think that that is still not good enough. So we continue to drive in continuous improvement. I suggest we head to the range and go have some fun.
Well, Corey, thank you for the tour today. I appreciate it. We have ended up at the range. I'm about to embark on some bow reviews, and man, I am salivating. They've got 2 racks of bows for me to shoot here, and there's not enough time in the day for all this amount of fun. So I'm gonna get cracking to it. I appreciate the tour. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, get to see a little bit of the inside. This is not something we get to see that often in general. Like, I've never had the opportunity to do something like this, so I appreciated it. It was neat to see the processes, the risers being cut and everything. So, and he just mentioned something to me that I've always thought. The employees are what make the business. The people are what make it. So it's nice to hear that from someone else. So thank you for sharing that.
It has been fun.
Yeah.
I love giving this tour once again. If you get a chance, contact your dealer, contact your rep, and let's get you scheduled, because I'd love to give you the same tour.
All right, so thanks again.
Not a problem. You have a good day, buddy.
Well, folks, it is after 11 o'clock at night. I am about to go to bed, but I just was editing this video that you watched. And before I go to bed, I just want to say a couple things. One, I want to give a special thanks to all the people at the Outdoor Group. I was humbled by how open and honest they were with me and how welcoming they were. I mean, I felt as though they really rolled out the red carpet in welcoming me there. And that was very edifying. I appreciated seeing that. I appreciated receiving that. So thank you so much for all the people that made that happen. Also, I wanted to say, if you're new to my channel, my YouTube channel, make sure you check out some of my content. I really do a lot teaching people and mentoring them who are new to the sport. People who are new to archery, I give archery tips, especially for beginners. People who are new to hunting, I have playlists called How to Hunt Whitetail Deer, things like that. So check out my channel, subscribe to it, help me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers. And hey, I'm going to sign off for now, but make sure you check out my channel. And again, a special thanks to the people at the Outdoor Group. If you ever have the chance to get in there and visit them, it is worth it. And I recently did a video talking about just promoting hunting and that topic. And I really felt like this company represented what I was hoping companies would do as their approach to the market, to the people, which is to focus on producing the best quality product they possibly can for the public, and then to care about their customers with customer service, taking care of them if there's ever any issues. I think that is the most important thing to focus on as a company in the world, because if we focus more on dollar signs, we stop focusing on people. We start to think more of things rather than people. And I think this group showed me that they had the type of focus that I appreciate. So thanks again to all of you, and thank you, the viewer, for watching. Again, check out my channel, and until then, take care and God bless.